I am Tina Mehra from Tina IELTS Online, and today I want to introduce your first essay. Now in IELTS there are total 7 types of essays. So in IELTS there are total 7 types of essays, and we are going to do our essay today with the 8 band formula. Now the first essay that I'm going to do with you today is called Advantages and Disadvantages essay. It is not as simply put in the actual exam. They may write advantages or disadvantages, or they might simply say discuss both the views. So discuss both the views basically means that you have to give both advantages and disadvantages. I'd like to show you an example here. This is one of the topics that we have. It says, some people say computers have made life more difficult and complicated. Others think computers have made lives easier, safer and less troublesome. Discuss both these views. So there is one sentence which is against computers. There is one sentence in favor of computers, and then they are saying discuss both the views. So it clearly means this essay is on the advantages and disadvantages of computers. The theme of the essay is computers. So this theme in IELTS language is called as the keyword of the essay. So I want you to remember this, that the keyword is computer. So when I teach you the format, we'll be inculcating this keyword at a couple of places. Now how to write the essay. So I've made a structure for you so that it becomes easy for you to understand your format. So first of all, see. So this is the first, second, third and the fourth para. And okay, so the first paragraph is called as the introductory para. So when I say introductory paragraph, this is the first para, introduction, and in the introduction there are no specific bands for introduction in an IELTS essay. So don't stress that you have to start your essay with a very impressive line. There are just two things the examiner is needing in your introduction. The first one is that you need to paraphrase the topic. Paraphrase the topic simply means to translate the topic into your own words. So if this was our essay, so if I now here say, let's say, some people say computers have made life difficult and complicated. So how would I paraphrase it? A section of society believes that computers have made their lives difficult. However, others tend to believe that computers have made their lives simpler. They have written 3 adjectives: easier, safer and less troublesome. Does not mean that we also have to write 3 adjectives. We can just say simpler. This, very simply put, is called as the paraphrasing of the topic. Just translate it in your simple English. There is no need to give any background on computers, any background on technology. No, nothing is required. The last line of the first para, which is given here, is called as giving the thesis statement. Giving the thesis statement basically means to answer the question which is given. Now what was the question given here? Discuss both these viewpoints. So now you have to answer this part in the last line of your first para. It can be as simple as, now let us discuss the advantages and disadvantages of computers in the subsequent paragraphs. But sometimes students tell me, ma'am, can you please give us some good thesis statements so that if we are aiming at an 8 band score, we can just learn those thesis statements. 7 types के essays हैं, so there are going to be only 7 types of thesis statement. So I am going to be sending some notes to you in which or thesis statements for all types of essays going to be given. For this particular essay, it is our point number 6. It says discuss both the views. So any of these 3 sentences can be put here. So that's why I've written point number 6. That's it. That makes the first paragraph, which is called as the introduction of the essay. Now we come to our first body paragraph, which is going to have advantages. It is recommended to give at least 2 advantages. In one advantage, you will not get the required bands, and if you give 3 advantages, your essay will become extremely lengthy. So stick to simply 2 advantages. Now there is a rule in IELTS that whenever you change the para, number 1 is you have to leave a line. So if I show you this, see, there was an entire line left, and then you have to left align your para. Then they say you cannot just randomly start your essay like there are many advantages of computers. No, you have to use a linking device between the 2 paragraphs, which in IELTS language is denoted by a C, which is called as a connector. Now number of connecters per essay are always fixed. So for an 8-band formula. So for advantages and disadvantages is if the examiner is checking your essay, he is going to make sure that have you written 9 connectors or not. So one connector is used when you have to start the para. Now what are these connectors? Let me show you example of some of the connectors. So here I am going to share these notes with you. These are the list of the connectors. So these are some of the connectors by which you can begin your para. Normally your body paragraph 1 is recommended to start with, to begin with. So if I show you this example here of this student, see here he has written to begin with. So that's how you start your first para. Now you've written to begin with here. Now the first line of that paragraph, of the advantages paragraph, is called the opening sentence. Like in a cricket match, there is an opening batsman. Here we have something which is called as an opening sentence. The opening sentence just tells the examiner that what is the paragraph about. It is not going to give the details that the advantages of computers are this and this. It is just going to say that this paragraph is going to discuss the advantages of computers. After that, now you have to give 2 advantages, but you have to give them in a same line in a single sentence. For example, you are saying that computers help in the education sector and computers help people to communicate with each other. So, but you will first use a connector. This connector will signify to the examiner that you have used a point. Now, what would be a connector for a point? So, go to my notes. You will see here there are connectors to start any new point. So, you can say first and foremost. So here you will simply say first and foremost the main advantages of computers are that they help in the education sector and computers also help people to communicate with each other. So education and communication are 2 advantages that you are going to give in a single sentence. Mind you, don't make 2 sentences in a single sentence. Once you've given the points, then the next rule for an 8-band formula is that you have to explain those points. So you have to give a connector for the explanation. How will the examiner know that the points have finished and now the explanation has started? Some students might give points in 2 or 3 sentences. So to tell him that I have followed the 8-band formula correctly, so you will use a connector for explanation. Again, go to the notes. You will be able to see that there are connectors for explanation. You can probably choose to explain and then come back here and write to explain, and now you are going to explain these 2 points. Explanation means now that you have to tell in detail that how computers are helpful in the education sector and how they are helpful in the communication sector. This explanation can be as long as you want, but we should ideally restrict it to just about 3-4 sentences because we are short on word limit and we have to manage our time as well. Please do not use a connector after every sentence when you give the explanation. There has to be only one connector for the entire explanation. Let me show you this example of the student. So he's begin with, like I showed you this, that he has started this with to begin with. This is the opening sentence. The advantages nature of computer become apparent when considering its impact on various aspects. First and foremost is the connector that the student has used for giving the points. What are the points? I'm just going to go in short that computers help in the communication and education sector. Then he has used a connector to substantiate, which is a connector among the list of the connectors for explanation. Then this entire part is the explanation. And finally, then what happens is your paragraph always ends with an example, but you have to highlight it. For example, to exemplify. So 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 connectors in this para. If you add additional connectors, you lose bands. If you add less connectors, you lose bands. That's why I've specified here, I'm going to send this format to you, that only use 4 connectors. Now, example to be always given at the end of the para. This is how an IELTS essay is formatted. So, if I go to the next para, I'm not able to shift it. Sir, can you help me with this, please? I want the second para. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So now if I have to start with the disadvantages, again the disadvantages are going to be you start with a connector, give an opening sentence. So the connector for disadvantages can be on the contrary. This paragraph will focus on the demerits of computers. Primarily, The demerits of computers, for example, are they cause unemployment and health issues. To explain, then you explain both the points. Then to exemplify, you give an example at the end. So there has to be two examples at the end of each para. And then finally, four connectors here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, when you give the conclusion, you summarize your point. You have a neutral conclusion because this is an example, advantage, disadvantage essay. So you will give a neutral conclusion. You will summarize all the points, but you will use synonyms. For example, if here you have said that computers cause unemployment, so you will here say that computers are making people lose their jobs. So in the end here, sir, can you help me scroll this also, please? I want to show this paragraph. Yeah. So there will be total, thank you. There will be total 4 paras in this essay. There will be total 9 connectors. I'm going to send you the list of the connectors. There will be 2 examples at the end. Now, examples make a lot of difference. So I'm going to send you list of some examples. You can use these examples when you write, but do not repeat the type of an example. For example, if you've written a blog example, blog is an article which a person writes on the internet. A couple of things to keep in mind. Never give a survey or a research. This used to happen about 3-4 years ago. Now they are considered fake examples, so do not give a survey or research. Please frame your example in past tense only. Do not give any percentage or statistics because these can be googled and authenticated. So don't say 27% people were affected by computers. Just say a large number of people or a majority of people, and your example should always have 2 sentences. So let's say in your body paragraph 1, the advantages that you have given are that computers help in the education sector and computers help people to communicate with each other. It's very important for you to link your example with the point. So how will I write it? A blog written by Mr. Richard Branson. Now Richard Branson is actually an entrepreneur, a real blogger. So even if the examiner Googles, he'll be able to find this name. A blog written by Mr. Richard Branson, an entrepreneur from Britain in 2019 on computers, highlighted the fact that students were using computer in the education sector. He further emphasized that many people use computers to communicate with each other. So these 2 points must be linked with your example. I have framed the example in past tense and I have not used any statistics. You can give examples from the real world also. They fetch a lot of band. Otherwise, I'm going to send you a couple of these standard examples. They can almost be fitted to every essay. So I hope it's clear by now that the format of the essay is that you have to make total 4 paras, 9 connectors, 2 examples. Yes, complex and CCS sentences. The total of complex and CCS sentences is going to be 10. So I'm going to send you a short video from my phone explaining what complex and CCS sentences are, but the notes are also given here. Let me just give you a quick brief of what complex and CCS sentences are. So these are something which is called as subordinating conjunctions. When we make a complex sentence, we only use subordinating conjunctions to join 2 sentences. A subordinating conjunction can be like this. It can be, the subordinating conjunction can be used to join 2 sentences, or you can use a subordinating conjunction in the beginning and then join 2 sentences with a comma. For example, if I say as, so I can say as it is raining outside, the weather is very pleasant. Or if I want to use because, I am preparing for the IELTS exam because I want to move abroad. So this is a general rule of making complex sentences, but I'll send you a detailed video again explaining what complex and of course what CCS sentences are. So have a look at that video. In your essay, the total of complex and CCS sentences has to be 10, and the examiner is going to mark each sentence. Now if you see here, all the complex sentences have been marked with a star and a CCS is denoted by a green tick. So every line the student has made is either a complex or a CCS sentence. So if we scroll ahead, I'm not very good at scrolling right now. It's just my first day. So sir, if you can just scroll down and yeah, I think I'll learn. See, so every line is complex CCS. So Then the examiner is going to make a note at the end that the total number of complex and CCS sentences, how many have you written? 9 out of 10. If only you cross this mark of 10, your essay comes into the 7-band category. So it might take you a little while to write your essay because you're going to think of a sentence, but you'll have to consciously convert it into a complex sentence and write. One last thing which is left here is the collocations. Now, collocations are two words of English which we normally use together. For example, we say smart decision, positive aspects, high impact. So there should be minimum 20 collocations. So when I check your essay, I am going to mark the collocations. For example, if I say significant amount, now this is a collocation, or if I say sedentary lifestyle, this is a collocation. I'm going to mark these collocations and I'm going to write them in the end. They really help you to get very good bands. Fancy words or vocabulary is one last thing. So 7 to 10 big fat words of English are very important. I'll send you a list of fancy words also. You can try and inculcate those words every day in your essay. But working on your vocabulary, yes, definitely does help. One thing in this particular type of essay, which was our advantage, disadvantage essay, please do not use any personal pronouns like I, we, you, us. Don't say we use computers, say people use computers, because the question says discuss both the views. Question does not say discuss both the views and give your opinion. That's another type of essay which we will be subsequently doing down the line. So that's it. 4 paras, 9 connectors, 2 examples, complex plus CCS 10, collocations 20, fancy word 7 to 10, and yes, keyword must come in every single line. Now this is not counted in, sir, can you just help me scroll this? Let me see. Let me try. Oh yeah, okay, I think I got it now. So your every line should have the word computers. So if I see for this particular student, every line has the word, every sentence has the word computer. There is not even a single sentence in the word in which computer is not written. This is not counted in repetition. This is counted in coherence, which is called linking enhance. Apart from the keyword, you are not allowed to use any other word again. No connector can be repeated. No fancy word can be repeated. No collocation can be repeated. So I'll be sending all these notes to you. I'll also be sending this sample essay to you. Please do not copy the essay, write your own essay, your own content, but follow the format strictly. This is the format which I want you to follow correctly. I will be sending this entire format to you and the checklist is given at the end. That's it. Attempt your first essay. I'm waiting to check it. Happy writing.